Yes, any questions?
Lord, can I have a question for Ms. Yonghua?
Of course.
So you haven't decided to go to research field.
So,
now the questions are for Professor Lam.
It's alright.
thank you. Hello, Ms. Yonghua. I'm Dayan, year 1 student for semiconductor parts. I think some students in other schools such as EEE and physics and plastics also learn something about semiconductor. So I'm wondering, what's the advantage of MSE students in this part? Thank you.
Well, you're a year 1 student. Very good. Start to think of your career already. Actually, it's good to start to think as early as possible. Although later you can always change. Yeah. Compared to other students from other schools, actually, we may not be in advantage in more specific field like circuit design or something like a process engineer. For MSE students, we are different from other schools. We actually learn things in a broader point of view. We learn more things. That's true. When you start working, you will realize the broader your knowledge is, the easier to pick up new things. Because the way you think is different, you will think in a broader way. Then it's easier to learn. Then for the job part, I think when the employer pick a person, they don't really only look from your academic grounds. They will look at what kind of person you are. Your personality is more important than your academic grounds. And if you are really keen of learning and you're interested in some fields, then I believe you will, anyway you will learn it yourself. Or when you get to know or get to touch this knowledge, you will learn faster than other people. So does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Anyone interested in research?
Hello, Papa. I'm coming from year 4.
I'm so glad.
Because just now you mentioned you used to be in Texas Instruments. That company should be dealing with electronics, right?
Yeah.
And then you changed your research area to polymer. And now you are dealing with solar cells. It's a big change in your research career. So can I know how did you cope with the changes? And it should be a very painful process.
Thank you. Actually, changes is not a painful process. Changes is a very nice process because it's always new things that you're learning. Okay, as an engineer, I did work on memory. It was DRAMs and stuff. It was old technology, but still. And then, actually, it's kind of related. They're all materials related. When I was in Texas Instruments, I was dealing with packaging. I was dealing with adhesive and things like that. It's all polymer related. And then when I go on to do my PhD, I did my PhD on self-assembly of polymers. I mean, it's relating to polymers still. As I go into my degree, I mean, after my PhD, I come in to do my research and stuff. I'm working with also self-assembly of polymers and also using polymers as a templating process. But because of this divergence into templating process and stuff like that, then the applications comes along, which is solar cells. And when solar cells comes along, then there are other materials which are very interesting as well. And then it goes, everything that you learn can be linked. Everything that you learn now can be useful in years to come. You never know. So don't ever forget things that we try to teach you. We try. Trust me, we did try. Yeah. So the thing is, I love changes. Actually, that's one thing that I like. If there are new things to be learned, it's very nice. And also, whatever things that you have learned before is always useful in years to come, even if you don't do research, I think. Yeah. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one last question for Professor Ma.
Sorry ma'am, how do you progress from the research field? Let's say you do after your PhD, then after your research fellow, then like how you progress to
Okay. That's a good question. If you're interested in a research career, it's very important that the first thing that you have to do is actually to get a PhD. Yeah. So once you finish your PhD, the recommended career move will be you should go on and do a postdoctorate research. The reason why you should go on to do a postdoctoral research is because when you're doing postdoctoral research, you have no pressure from the generation of a thesis. Because as a postgraduate student, you will have to generate that PhD thesis, so there's a stress there. And then as you move into postgraduate research or postdoc research, you basically do things that you are keen on without the pressure of having to generate a thesis. And then thereafter, you can choose your career. You can choose to go into a company to do research like BASF or Bosch or Procter & Gamble, or you can choose to go into a research institute and become a research scientist if you are not so keen to talk to, not keen to talk to students, but if you are not keen to teach. Yeah, okay? There's another thing about if you are keen to teach, then you should come into the university, because in the university you have both the interaction with students and also the excitement of doing research. Actually, research, in the past, people would think that as a professor you should be hiding in your room and doing things and not talking to too many people just in case, I don't know. But nowadays, research are not like that. Research, a lot of the time, is depending on interactions. You have to talk to people, you have to understand maybe people from different fields. There might be some cross-disciplinary research which is possible. So it's always very exciting to get new ideas and new thoughts and stuff like that. So that's how you progress if you choose to go into research. I hope you do.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah, no problem.
We shall now move on to the next speaker, Mr. Kam Isai. He graduated last year and is a research analyst in Ukraine. Let's invite Mr. Kam.
Is it okay if I sit there and talk? Right? Yeah. We graduated last year, me and Alvin. That's why we look the freshest of the lot. How many of you all have heard of private equity like here? Okay, me neither, before I joined the company. I work for this company called Pre-Queen as a research analyst. So I do not need a PhD to be in this research field. Private equity is actually an asset class in the finance industry. So it's the exact opposite of public equities. So public equities are your stocks, your shares, and mutual funds, those unit trusts that the banks always try to sell you. What private equity is things which are not listed on the stock market, which are not easily available to the public. That's why it's called private. So what I do is I talk to people. Mostly, I talk to two kinds of people, what we call the investors and the fund managers. So investors are those with people with a lot of money. Either they are individuals, like Roman Abramovich, alright? That's a very high net worth individual, or institutional investors, which are organizations with a lot of money, like GIC Automatic or Shell. But I don't think they do private equity. Yeah. So I talk to these investors. I ask them what they want to do with their money, and then I talk to the fund managers. Fund managers are people who have no money, but they know how to make money. So they would like to have money from the investors, right? So they help to manage this money. And for Pre-Queen, what we have is an online database which is upkept by the research analyst. We get the information, we write not really essays, but we write reports. Yeah, we write reports, and further on in the career, you get to do analysis, and which are just very basic graphs, okay, just to make people think that it's very cheap, but actually in the finance industry, nobody really knows what they're doing. Yeah. So what my job currently is just calling these people and to write these reports and to upkeep the database. Yeah. So does anyone have any questions for me?
What do you sell your investors? You sell them stock, you sell them dividends?
Okay. Wait.
He's trying to sell you something now.
I'm trying to tell you something now.
What I mean is, do they get a dividend or do they get ownership in your investors' vehicle through?
Okay, my company does not do any investments. We are a pure database company. A very easy to understand equivalent of pre-Queen would be Bloomberg. Alright, everybody's heard of Bloomberg. Yes, Thomson Reuters. Yes, these are very large conglomerates and they research in everything, right? I heard that Bloomberg even had an index for Bagua during Chinese New Year. So they keep news of everything, but for my company, we only are interested in private equity. So what we do is we sell the rights to access the database to fund managers and investors. So they would really want to have this database because those people with the money, they do not know what to do with it. They want to look for a fund to invest in, and the database is a good platform for them to know which funds out there are within their interest of investment. And for the fund managers, right, they are the ones who are in need most of this database because they need to find the money to invest. Yeah. So one example of what we do is this publication. We have this pre-Queen quarterly. Yeah. Later, those of you who are interested can come and take a look and can bring back what I have here. So yeah, you can come and take a look later. It's one of the publications that we do. So actually, for me, I do not feel like I'm really in the banking and finance industry, mainly because I don't get the big bucks. Okay, the big bucks are those people who are in banks, and the reason that they are not here is because they're busy making money. So I'm paid peanuts. I feel like more like a journalist. Yes, I ask people questions, I report on news, and I do some analysis. Yeah.
Any questions?
What investment will you recommend with minimum capital?
Well,
Is that a private question?
investment. Yeah, that's a private question. I do not give investment information or advice. Put in the bank. I think Stanchart used to have the highest interest rate.
What are the career prospects, like your progression to higher level? Are there a lot of chances?
Basically, within my company itself, the hierarchy is quite flat. So probably the next position would be something like a team leader, and probably to be in charge of a specific product that the company has. Other than that, within this company, because it's a private company, you don't really get